Alright, in today's class we are going to see thermal expansion of liquids. Now, for solids there is a definite shape and you can mold different objects in different shapes that you have. Now, coming to liquids and gases, okay, liquids and gases do not have a shape of their own. Liquids and gases do not have specific shape of their own, okay. So what do I mean by this is, whatever you are taking the container, okay, depending upon whatever container you take, your liquid will occupy that container shape, okay. So now indirectly volume is significant for liquids. So now here, because volume is significant, we'll talk of, okay, volume expansion only, okay. We will not talk of areal expansion for liquids because volume is significant, okay. We will define only gamma. There is nothing like alpha and beta for liquids, okay. Liquids and gases also it is the same, okay. Now, for example, for understanding sake, okay, let me take a tube like this and let us say you have filled this tube with water. Now, if you are filling this tube with water like this, in this tube, if you have observed carefully, okay, I have filled it only till this surface, okay, it has just filled in. So this volume is V0, volume of liquid is V0, okay. And let us say this volume of container, in this case initially it is volume of container is V0. Now what is that I am trying to do here is, you heat this, okay, you give heat energy, okay, give heat energy to the container. Now when you give heat energy to the container, okay, now what happens is this tube will become into the same shape, similar shape. But the thing is, because of expansion, let us say it is overflowing from the limb, okay, assuming that there is positive coefficient of linear expansion. Now when there is positive coefficient of linear expansion, what happens here is, this liquid that you have, okay, this portion is actually appearing to be, okay, this appears to be volume expanded, okay, this appears to be the volume expanded, okay. Now if you ask me what is the expansion of liquid, okay, we will have the tendency that this pink color portion is the volume of liquid that has actually expanded, okay. Now in reality what is the problem is, okay, in reality what is the problem is, when we give heat, okay, when we heat the container, both container and liquid expands, okay, when we heat the container, both container and liquid expands. So when both container and liquid expands, okay, you cannot say that pink color is the volume that has actually expanded, okay. Hope you are getting my point. So what is the moral of the story? when you just simply take some container and heat it, okay, in a situation like this, okay, whatever volume that is coming into that limb, okay, limb in the sense this part I am calling it as limb. So whatever liquid that is coming into the limb, we have the tendency that that portion of the liquid, is what is the volume of liquid that has expanded, but that is not true. Why? Because when we are heating the container, both container and liquid will expand. So now because both are expanding, okay, we will actually define two terms. Okay, what are those two terms? I will tell you. Hope you have understood what I have tried to explain. So now my point is, when there is expansion in the container, so this much portion into this limb, a portion of liquid is actually overflowing like this. Now here two types of expansions we will discuss. What are the two types of expansions? I will tell you. Now your yellow color part is the volume of liquid expanded, okay, from the initial stage. Now if I choose a different color here, so this part that you are taking here is, okay, this is called as apparent expansion. Okay, apparent in the sense it appears, okay, your apparent expansion is how much volume of liquid that is more, or how much volume of liquid that appears to be present in the container. Okay, it is called as apparent expansion. Okay, so this blue color part is apparent expansion. Okay, right. Next, real expansion is, okay, this apparent expansion is, so only this blue color or whatever color you take, this is sky blue. Okay, I don't know in the video what finally comes out, but this yellow color part, okay, this yellow color part that you have here, this yellow color is, okay, your real expansion of liquid. This is yellow color part is your real expansion, and your blue color part is your apparent expansion. Okay, so this apparent expansion, real expansion, both are there here, and I want you to, okay, I want you to understand both are different. Now here let us say this is your container. So totally here there are three aspects. Okay, first one is expansion of container, and there is also your expansion of liquid, and there is also something known as your apparent expansion. Apparent expansion is what is visible to you or what appears to be the expansion. Now in this case, if I try to calculate, your apparent expansion, okay, if I try to calculate your apparent expansion, your delta V apparent, okay, that means how much liquid that has actually flown into the limb in the sense top part. So your apparent expansion is volume of liquid minus volume of container. Okay, initially, as I have told you very clearly, initially only up to the brim you have filled the liquid, remaining portion it is empty. Now because of expansion of the liquid as well as the container, okay, because the volume will increase, so that blue color amount of liquid has actually gone into the limb. Now how much is that has gone into the, okay, container means this blue color amount of portion. So that is how much, if I try to calculate, your volume of liquid is V naught times 1 plus gamma of liquid into delta theta minus volume of container initially. Okay, I am talking about the circular part. Okay, of course there is expansion in the area of cross section of top part as well, but coming to that part we will see later. Okay, now the same question that okay, I will come to that part later, but volume of container is V naught times 1 plus gamma of container into delta theta. So because of heating, your container will also expand. So now V naught will cancel off. What is that you are going to get is V naught times gamma of liquid minus gamma of container into delta theta is your apparent expansion. Now coming to your apparent expansion here, whatever you are seeing in the blue color, that is your apparent expansion. Now this apparent expansion value you are getting as this much, V naught times gamma of liquid minus gamma of container. Now this gamma of container can be replaced with 3 times alpha of container, because okay, I told you right from the start, I have been telling you, if nothing is mentioned, consider isotropic solid. So for isotropic solid, what will happen is your real expansion or volume expansion coefficient is 3 times linear expansion coefficient. Okay, now this is your apparent expansion. Now keeping this in mind, okay, I'll give you or I'll explain certain basic facts. Hope you have understood this. Now here, what are the possibilities that you have, I'll tell you. Now your volume appears to, okay, volume appears to, two possibilities are there. Okay, one is increase, volume appears to increase, volume appears to decrease, or one more possibility is volume appears to be same. Okay, I need space, I will write it separately. So volume appears to be same. All these possibilities are there. Now when there is increase, when there is decrease, I will explain. But before that, try to copy down this content while you are watching the video. Okay, so now here, what are the possibilities that you have, I will tell you. So now from the whole story, okay, what is that I have tried to explain is, so you have this kind of container here, and some portion of liquid has actually overflown into the tube, and this overflown liquid I am representing it with help of a different color like this, and I told you this is your overflown liquid. Now if you observe carefully, okay, your delta V I have explained just now as it is V naught times gamma of liquid minus gamma of container into delta theta. Now in this, okay, which can also be written as 3 times alpha of glass, I have written for gamma of container. Now if you observe carefully, 3 possibilities are there when you are heating. Okay, so what are the possibilities, I will tell you. When you are heating this container with exactly just filled container, when you are heating, the possibilities are, okay, your liquid level, okay, could remain same, this is one possibility. It could increase, this is another possibility. It could decrease, this is another possibility. Okay, totally how many possibilities are there? 3 possibilities. Okay, the level of the liquid could remain same, okay, it could increase, it could decrease. Now when will that be same, when will that increase, when will that decrease is the next idea. So now for remaining same, for increase, for decrease, what are the conditions that you have? So I will write that. So for remaining same, what happens is your delta V is supposed to be 0. Okay, so the condition for liquid level to remain same is your change in apparent volume. Okay, so this is actually called as apparent volume. Okay, So apparent volume that has expanded is, okay, it should be 0. Okay, then only you will assume that, okay, their amount of rise in the liquid is not at all present and it is exactly 0. It appears to you as such, but in reality there could be a possibility that both are expanding. My point is how much this container expands. If your liquid also expands by same amount, then why will there be a rise, right? So when the level remains same as such, what happens is your expansion of liquid is equal to expansion of container. How much the liquid expands, that much your container also expands. Now if that is the case, indirectly your apparent expansion is 0. Apparent is what you will see with the help of your eye. So now in this case, when delta V is 0, gamma of liquid is equal to gamma of container, or else, okay, if you are taking volume of liquid into, that we indirectly change in volume of liquid should be equal to change in volume of container. So volume of liquid into gamma of liquid into delta theta should be equal to volume of container into gamma of container into delta theta. Same temperature difference. If initial volumes are same, you can write gamma of liquid is gamma of container, that is 3 times alpha of container. If this condition is satisfied, okay, so if initial volumes are same, if these two are same, okay, then what happens is your gamma of liquid is equal to gamma of container, that is equal to 3 times alpha of container. Okay, hope you have understood it. Okay, the liquid level will remain same provided, okay, how much amount of expansion in liquid is there, by same amount the container is also supposed to expand. Okay, now next, the liquid level will increase if delta V apparent is greater than 0, okay, which is pretty obvious, because that blue color will, if it is positive only, then only it will go upwards, the level will rise. So that happens when gamma of liquid minus gamma of container is greater than 0, gamma of liquid is greater than gamma of container. Okay, here there is rise. Okay, so there is rise when gamma of liquid is greater than gamma of container. Next, there will be decrease when, okay, then your delta V apparent is less than 0. That implies gamma of liquid is minus gamma of container is less than 0. Gamma of liquid is less than gamma of container. Okay, so accordingly you have to simplify and then do the calculation. Okay, right? So this is your basic idea of thermal expansion of liquids. So now this is your apparent expansion. Now keeping this in mind, okay, what is real expansion, what is apparent expansion? If you ask me, this apparent expansion can be written as delta V, change in volume is V naught times, it is V naught times gamma apparent into delta theta. Okay, because how much is the change in volume that appears to be, means this is only your change in volume. Your change in volume is delta V apparent, that is equal to V naught times gamma of liquid minus gamma of container into delta theta. Delta theta, V naught will cancel off. Your apparent expansion is gamma of liquid minus gamma of container. Okay, so your apparent expansion is your gamma of liquid is, this is your real expansion. Gamma apparent is how much expansion is appearing to you. Okay, and this is your container. Okay, so that is your real expansion and this is your container. Gamma apparent is gamma of liquid minus gamma of container, right? So this is what you have. Okay, all right. So now hope you have understood it and copied it. Okay, take screenshot of this. Next, now your next is your relation between apparent expansion and real expansion. So what is the relation between your apparent expansion and real expansion? I will tell you. So your gamma apparent is what we have seen as gamma real minus gamma of container. So that implies, okay, this is indirectly liquids. Real expansion is nothing but how much is the actual value. So this is for liquid. So now from here gamma real can be written as gamma apparent plus gamma of container, that is equal to gamma apparent plus gamma of container is 3 times alpha of container. Okay, so this is what you have. Okay, right. So now, okay, this is your exact final relation, and this is the important relation for solving problems. Okay, right. Now based on this we will try to do simple questions for you to understand the logic better. Okay, right. Now next, your apparent expansion can also be related to a different relation. So now when both are expanding, okay, this is your apparent expansion, I told you. So in the limb, this much part is your apparent expansion. So whatever is extra flowing when you are just fitting it in. So now here this apparent expansion can also be written as, if this length is L and if this area is A into L, okay, because if it is of cylindrical shape, we can assume area into height, okay. If it is some H, for example, you can write it as A into H, okay. So this much if you understand, this is enough and required for problem solving. Now I will start doing problems, okay. Just summarize everything what I have explained and hope you have understood it. Alright, so your next idea is, I will give you an application based on the expansion of mercury. Now what is the question is, you have a mercury thermometer and the bulb contains volume V. This part is actually called as bulb. Now to this bulb, okay, in the start at temperature theta equal to 0, what is that I am doing is, I am filling out with this mercury only up to this white color level, that is indirectly it is showing 0 reading. Now the dimensions of the mercury bulb are actually given to you and its volume is V0, and the glass container's coefficient of linear expansion is alpha of glass. Mercury's volume expansion coefficient is gamma, and you are heating it, and the limb's area of cross section is A0. Now what is that you are doing is, you are heating this by a temperature of T degrees centigrade. So if you are heating it by a temperature of T degrees centigrade, what is that you are supposed to do is, you are supposed to calculate your length of Hg column. That is your question. So now how is that you are going to simplify this and solve? I will explain now. Observe very carefully. Now your apparent expansion, okay, I am trying to do the solution now. Hope you have understood the question. Okay, first try it. Pause the video clip, try the answer, and then try to give the answer. Then you look into the solution. Okay. So first of all, your apparent expansion that you have is V0 times 1 plus gamma of Hg minus gamma of glass. Okay, sorry, it is not 1 plus, it is just simply, just hold on, excuse me. So V0 times gamma of Hg minus 3 times alpha of glass times delta theta is your temperature difference, which is of course T minus 0, that is equal to T. Now this apparent expansion, okay, after heating what happens is this liquid will flow into this container till here. So that is indirectly area of cross section into height h or length L, whatever you take. Let us say this length is L, that is the overflown liquid. So A of T into L is equal to V naught times, okay, gamma of Hg minus 3 times alpha of glass times delta theta is nothing but T minus 0, that is equal to T. At can be written as A naught times 1 plus beta of glass into temperature difference is T minus 0, that much times your length L is equal to V naught times gamma of Hg minus 3 times alpha of glass into T. That is your value. Now from here, what is your length is, it is indirectly V naught T times gamma of Hg minus 3 times alpha of glass whole divided by A naught times 1 plus beta of glass is nothing but 2 times alpha of glass into T. So this is your final required length. Okay, hope you have understood it and there are no doubts at all. Okay, right. So next further I will continue. Next is your effect of, next idea is your effect of temperature on, effect of temperature on, effect of temperature on density of liquid. Now what is the effect of temperature on density of liquid? I will tell you. So the first and foremost important point is, okay, whether if you take some mass or some liquid, mass of liquid like this, what happens is mass remains constant, okay, that is the most important point. Mass remains constant. Mass is intrinsic property of the material. So mass and gravity are completely different. On this planet if mass is m, on some other planet also mass is m, but weight is different. Now here, because your weight is force and it is related to acceleration due to gravity. So here what happens is, okay, if you take some liquid and heat it, okay, if it is some liquid and you are heating that liquid, so what happens is whether you heat it or you don't heat it, it doesn't matter, but mass always remains constant. What is your mass means? Your mass is volume times density. Okay, I am talking of mass. Mass is volume into density. Now if mass is volume times density, I can write it as mass m if it is constant. So indirectly what is constant is, initially you have volume V naught into density D naught, that is equal to finally you have V final into D final. Okay, so now if these two are same, okay, if the mass is same, V naught D naught is equal to V final is V naught times 1 plus gamma of liquid that you have into delta theta times density final. So V naught will cancel off because, sorry, it is V naught into, okay, V final is V naught times 1 plus gamma of liquid into delta theta into D final. V naught will cancel off. So your final density is D naught times 1 plus gamma of liquid into delta theta. Okay. Now here I want to stress on one important fact. Okay. This is your correct definition. Okay. This is your correct definition. Now if gamma of liquid into delta theta is very much less than 1, 1 plus gamma of liquid into delta theta whole power minus 1 is equivalent to 1 minus gamma of liquid into delta theta. Okay, right? So now this is your binomial approximation. So if this condition is satisfied, your final density is d naught times 1 minus gamma of liquid into delta theta. Okay, now many people will commonly use this definition. Commonly used definition is this, but this is your correct definition. Okay, so commonly used definition is valid only when that gamma of liquid into delta theta is very much less than 1. Okay, so without clarity, please do not try to use these definitions as you wish. Okay, right? Next, now coming to percentage changes in these kind of questions. Okay, your percentage change and all, you can actually use this relation, that is percentage change is change in density by initial density into 100. Okay, and similarly percentage change in volume is delta V by V into 100. Okay, and your percentage change and all, you can use the basic definitions accordingly and then do the required necessary calculations. Okay, so basic questions I don't need to discuss, I suppose, but still if you want some clarity, no issues, we will discuss some basic questions. Now let us try to solve this question. If gamma is coefficient of real expansion of liquid, temperature at which density of liquid is 1% of its density at 0. So density relation is density final value is density at 0 times 1 plus gamma into theta. Okay, so actually you have to write temperature difference. So now this is indirectly theta minus 0. This is density at theta degrees centigrade, and here d naught is density at 0. This relation I can actually use it. Now if you take this scenario, in this scenario what is asked is temperature at which density is 1% of its density at 0. So 1% of density at 0 means it is 1 by 100 of d naught, that is equal to d naught times 1 plus gamma of theta. D naught will cancel off. 1 plus gamma into theta is 100. Gamma theta is 100 minus 1, 99, and your theta is 99 by gamma. Okay, so this is your temperature. Okay, so use this relation. Do not use d naught by 100 is equal to d naught times 1 minus gamma delta theta. Do not use this. Okay, it is not allowed because that is only when approximation is considered. Okay, right. Next, your next question is, those who have finished doing that, for them your next question is, if d1 and d2 are densities of liquid at T1 degrees centigrade and T2 degrees centigrade, then d1 by d2 is, okay, d1 by d2 is dash. Okay, so this is your question. Okay, so now if you are trying to solve this, okay, now same liquid we are using, so obviously d1 is density at 0 by 1 plus gamma into T1 minus 0. Similarly density at 2 is d naught by 1 plus gamma into T2 minus 0. Now if you divide these two, d1 by d2 is d naught by 1 plus gamma T1 whole divided by d naught times 1 plus gamma T2. D naught will cancel off. Your d1 by d2 value is 1 plus gamma T2 by 1 plus gamma into T1. If approximation is considered, Okay, what is that approximation is gamma T1 is very much less than 1, then d1 by d2 will be 1 plus gamma into T2 minus T1 if approximation is considered, but in the options you tick this answer first. Okay, this is first choice. Okay, if that is not there, then go for the bottom one. Okay, so this is how you are supposed to do basic questions related to density. Now we will slightly start increasing the level. Right, now we will solve an application based on this. What is your question is, there is a wooden block and h height of this wooden block is inside the liquid. Its temperature is at some T1. What is your question is, totally this length is L and gamma of liquid is given to you. This is present in a liquid of linear expansion gamma of liquid. What is your question is, at what temperature block just sinks in water? That is your question. I want you to pause the video and then try it. Okay, now initial condition is, if I try to explain the solution, okay, hope you have paused the video and then tried it. So if you look at the initial condition, initially when there is equilibrium, your buoyant force is volume displaced into density of liquid into G. So what will that give me is area into H into rho of liquid into G. Gravitational force is mg, that is area into length into rho of body into G. Okay, so now initially when it is in equilibrium, indirectly AH into rho L into G is equal to AL into rho of body into G. G area will cancel off. You are getting rho of body is rho of liquid into H by L. Okay, now let us say in the question it is mentioned that you neglect the expansion of block. Okay, if expansion of block is also considered, what happens is, okay, if without expansion what will you do, with expansion what will you do, I will explain. So now when block sinks into the liquid, what happens is density of liquid, okay, when there is neglecting expansion, okay, actual answer for the question I am telling you, when block sinks, what happens is density of block is equal to density of liquid. Density of block is equal to density of liquid. What is the density of block means? Your density of block is, it is rho b. Okay, it is your density of block is rho of block is density of liquid is initial density, let us say it is given as rho naught. It is rho naught times 1 plus gamma of liquid into delta theta is temperature T2 minus T1. Let the required temperature is T2. Now at this stage, okay, density of liquid at T is equal to density of block. Because block is not expanding, density of block initially and finally both are same. If you don't consider, this is the case. If you are considering, you have to write initial density of block rho of B naught by 1 plus gamma into T2 minus T1. For gamma of body you have to write it, but here I told you neglect the expansion of block, so that means your density is not at all actually going to change. So rho B is nothing but, okay, this is rho of liquid of course, rho of body is rho of liquid into H by L, that is equal to rho of liquid by 1 plus gamma of liquid into T2 minus T1. So rho of liquid will cancel off. Your HL is given. So 1 plus gamma of liquid into T2 minus T1 is cross multiplying. That will give you L by H. So send this to other side and then simplify to get the value of T2, and whatever you get, that is the answer. Okay. So like this you have to consider the density related questions. Next, your next scenario is condition for constant volume of unoccupied space in container at all temperatures. So what is the meaning? I will tell you. So you have liquid filled into some container like this. Let us say your container is closed container. Now I am talking about this region. This region is your unoccupied space. For it to remain constant, okay, if you think logically, okay, what happens is, for that portion to remain constant, okay, what must happen is change in volume of container should be equal to change in volume of liquid. Okay, so the unoccupied volume will remain constant only when both container and liquid have same expansion or increase in volume. Okay, so I write that statement. Unoccupied volume will remain constant or same only when expansion of container is equal to expansion of liquid. So that is what you have. So volume of container into gamma of container is volume of liquid into gamma of liquid. Okay, right? So delta theta anyhow it will cancel off. So volume of container times gamma of container is volume of liquid times gamma of liquid. Okay, so that is the case wherein which this unoccupied volume will remain constant. Okay, now, okay, next is something interesting, that is your principle of, okay, principle of dilatometer. Principle of dilatometer. What is this dilatometer means? Dilatometer is the instrument which actually measures increase in volume, real expansion it will give. Okay, when you are taking a liquid in this dilatometer. Okay, so what is this dilatometer setup? I will tell you. Now what we do is we add mercury, okay, add mercury to the bottom of container. So adding mercury, okay, such that what happens is change in volume of container is equal to change in volume of, okay, change in volume of container is equal to change in volume of mercury, so that that effect is compensated. So what do I mean by this? I will tell you. So here if you have this container, what happens is in the bottom you will have mercury. So this mercury, what it will do is container expands, mercury expands. Expansion of container is equal to expansion of mercury. So what happens is remaining liquid, how much it expands, that much is the increase in volume, because Okay, what happens here is the logic is, okay, expansion of mercury is compensated by expansion of liquid. So it is compensated by that much amount by the liquid. So if that is the case, delta V of container is equal to delta V of mercury. Whatever increase in volume, probably if you have readings here, probably, so automatically what happens, this reading is anyhow seen by how much it has increased, you can calculate, and then this increase in value you can say, and you can say that that much it has expanded. Okay, so this container expansion is compensated by the, okay, compensated by the mercury expansion, that is volume of Hg into gamma of Hg into delta theta. Delta theta will cancel off. So what is that you are going to do is volume of container into gamma of container is volume of Hg into gamma of Hg. Okay, so this is what you have. Okay, right. So this is your final value. Okay, usually for example, my point is, if volume of Hg by volume of container will give you how much, means gamma of container by gamma of Hg. Okay, so according to this ratio you have to prepare the setup. Okay, so your instrument will be set up like this. Okay, and then you can actually do the calculation. Okay, right. So based on this, simple basic questions will be there. You read the question and then do it. Okay, all right, we'll continue further. Next idea is volume expelled out of container is what you have. So what is this volume expelled out of container? I will tell you. So now your volume expelled is, let us say you have a container, up to the brim you have filled it with water. In this case, what is your volume expelled means, your volume expelled is equal to volume overflown, which is your nothing but your apparent expansion. Okay, so only apparent expansion amount of liquid will flow out of the container. So your apparent expansion is initial volume times gamma of liquid minus gamma of glass container or whatever glass or container that you have into delta theta. That is your volume expelled. Okay, so this difference is what you are supposed to calculate it. Okay, so depending upon that, your basic values of temperatures will be given. You can substitute, simplify, and then do the answer. Okay, right. Next is your effect of temperature on weight of object immersed in liquid. Weight of object immersed in liquid. So what is this weight of object immersed in liquid? I will explain now. Observe very carefully. Let us say you have a spring like this. Okay, its mass is m. Okay, so if this liquid's temperature is initially at some point and you have heated it. Now what is this apparent weight? First you are supposed to know. So if I draw separately FBD, on this there is mass mg, your spring force kx is there, as well as your buoyant force, that is your volume into rho of liquid into g. So now what is the reading shown means, if you have watched my Newton's laws of motion or fluid mechanics, you will get to know this. But your kx plus your buoyant force is equal to V into rho of liquid into G. So now from here what happens is, this is your apparent weight. Your apparent weight is V into rho of your buoyant force is equal to mg. So kx plus buoyant force is V rho g. So your apparent weight is mg minus buoyant force. Okay, so your apparent weight is the actual reading that is actually shown. Now this upthrust will get affected. Okay, upthrust gets affected. So apparent weight 1 by apparent weight 2 is mg minus buoyant force initially by mg minus buoyant force finally. Okay, so take screenshot of this and then remember the result. Mg minus buoyant force 1 by mg minus buoyant force 2. Take screenshot of this stuff. Okay, so this buoyant force will be V rho of liquid into G. Here also it is volume of body that you have times volume of body into rho dash of liquid into G. Okay, so like this, at that particular point you calculate the buoyant force and then do the simplification. Okay, now I'll elaborate. Okay, so now if you are calculating this effect of temperature on buoyancy, effect of temperature on buoyancy, we do know the fact very clearly that your buoyant force is V into rho into G. Here volume is what? Volume immersed by immersed volume of the body. So now if you are trying to calculate this immersed volume, your initial buoyant force by final buoyant force is initial volume times initial density of liquid into G by rho of liquid into this is volume of body. Now final volume is VB times 1 plus gamma of body into delta theta times final density of liquid is how much, means rho of liquid by 1 plus gamma of liquid into delta theta into G. G will cancel off. Okay, I am taking final immersed volume and final this thing. So divide these two, that will give you rho of liquid will cancel off. You are going to get 1 plus gamma of liquid into delta theta by 1 plus gamma of body into delta theta. This is your buoyant force by Fb dash. Okay, so this is what you are going to get. Now out of this, okay, your final buoyant force, if it is asked instead of initial value, if he is asking you the final value, Fb dash is Fb times 1 plus gamma of body into delta theta by 1 plus gamma of liquid into delta theta, that is equal to initial buoyant force times 1 plus gamma of body minus gamma of liquid into delta theta. Like this you can calculate your final buoyant force value in terms of initial buoyant force. Okay, right. So I have used binomial approximation. Here there is approximation that was actually used here. Okay, right. Next we are going to see fraction of volume immersed in liquid. So initial to the initial value and to the final value we will do the comparison at theta 1 at theta 2. So initially let us say when the liquid is filled, we have your gravitational force as m into g, mass is volume of body, total volume V total into rho of body into G, and coming to this part, your buoyant force is your volume immersed into rho of liquid into G. Now in equilibrium condition, volume immersed into rho of liquid into G is equal to total volume times rho of body into G. G will cancel off. Your volume immersed by volume total is equal to rho of body by rho of liquid. So this is nothing but your fraction. So your initial fraction is rho of body by rho of liquid. Now if this is expanding, okay, if this expands, what happens is at new temperature that you have, volume immersed into rho of liquid into G must be equal to once again the same m into G, that is your total volume times rho of body times G. Okay, so final values. So now G will cancel off. Now your volume immersed dash by total volume dash is rho of body dash by rho of liquid dash. So if you are simplifying, your density of this body that you have is initial value rho naught times 1 plus gamma of body into delta theta, rho of body by this, times rho of liquid by 1 plus rho of liquid into delta theta. Rho liquid, rho body, these two terms I can actually replace with F, because that is what we have, rho of body by this. So your new fractional volume F dash is F times of 1 plus gamma of liquid into delta theta by 1 plus gamma of body into delta theta. That will give you F times 1 plus gamma of liquid minus gamma of body into delta theta, like this. Okay, so this is your final expression. Okay, right, that's all for this fraction thing. Now if gamma of liquid is less than gamma of solid, obviously solid rises up and continues to float, and if it is equal, no change, and if it is depending upon less and greater values, new fraction body will sink further down or upwards, like this. Okay, so this is how you are supposed to calculate your fractional change in the volume. Okay, right, next, anomalous expansion of water. Now usually all the bodies expand upon heating, but water usually between 0 to 4 degrees centigrade contracts, beyond 4 degrees centigrade and greater values it expands. So it contracts because of negative coefficient of expansion from 0 to 4, and it expands because of positive coefficient greater than 4 degrees centigrade. Okay, so anomaly means what? Normally in English what you call as anomaly means anything that actually goes out of the line or which will not follow the regular rules. Here water, instead of expansion, when temperature is increasing from between 0 to 4, it is contracting. Okay, right, and at 4 degrees centigrade, what is that you have is your maximum density you will have at 4 degrees centigrade. So if I try to draw a graph of volume versus temperature graph, the graph will be like this. Initially what happens is it will reduce, volume decreases between 0 to 4 degrees centigrade, and at 4 degrees centigrade it is actually your density of water is 1 gram per cc. This is your maximum density. Okay, and at this point you have your volume as at 1.0013 meter cube volume or so. Okay, meter cube density, this is, you should not keep gram per cc, it is only just cc, that's all. Okay, and if you are drawing density versus temperature graph, your density versus temperature graph will be like this. Exactly at 4 degrees centigrade it is 1 gram per cc is your density. This is of course cc, that's all. Okay, right. So this is how your variation of volume with the temperature and density with temperature is represented for water. That is why it is called as anomalous expansion. Okay, right. Now the last part of this chapter is, okay, what is called as correction for barometric reading. This last part is your correction for barometric reading. So what is this correction for barometric reading? I will tell you. Now if you are taking a barometer, okay, your barometer will be like this, wherein which you are dipping it in mercury like this. Now your pressure here for barometer is represented as, pressure is, okay, H rho G is your formula for pressure. Okay, your atmospheric pressure is, okay, atmospheric pressure, P atmosphere is H into rho into G. Now whatever happens, initial and final, one thing is definitely sure, when temperature is changing, your atmospheric pressure will not change. So H naught into rho naught into G must be equal to height at temperature T into rho at temperature T into G. Acceleration due to gravity will not change with respect to time. Your H naught, okay, your H naught is, H naught times rho naught is equal to, height at temperature is H naught times 1 plus alpha into T times rho at T is rho naught times 1 plus gamma into T. This is density of density of mercury, okay, this is Hg, okay, and height is, okay, your height is usually brass scale, okay, your height, this is your true reading, this H naught times 1 plus alpha T, in this is your scale, okay, this is your scale, okay, brass, okay, alpha of brass, usually this part is made up of brass, so alpha of brass, okay, and here one thing you are supposed to understand is, okay, true scale reading is different and this is different. So in scales and tapes we have seen that. So now this will become H into, sorry, it is not H naught, it is H times, okay, H naught is at 0, this H is true scale reading, true scale, your H value is true scale reading, okay, we know that I have explained this measured value, true scale reading and all, this is known to us. So true scale reading times 1 plus alpha into T, this I have explained in scales. So now simplifying this relation, okay, what is that you are going to get is, if you are simplifying this, rho naught anyhow will cancel off, you are going to get H naught is equal to H times 1 plus alpha of brass into T whole divided by 1 plus alpha of Hg, gamma of Hg into T. So that will give you H naught is equal to H times 1 plus alpha of brass minus gamma of Hg into T, which can be rearranged and written as, okay, H naught is equal to H times 1 minus gamma minus alpha into T, okay. So neglecting the approximations, everything you simplify it, you are going to get this, okay. So keep this result in. So from this, the final and important point that you are supposed to take is, your height at 0 degrees centigrade is true scale reading times 1 minus gamma of Hg minus alpha of brass into T, okay. So this is your correction for barometric reading, because when you increase the temperature it will show wrong reading, okay. So using this formula you can do the questions, okay. With this the theoretical part of expansion of liquids is done. Next we are going to see expansion of gases separately, and problem solving sessions, anyhow they will be also be uploaded separately onto the YouTube. That's all for today. Thank you.